slice it off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get
He missed the complete that. He's crazy
As I said,
stuff.
Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He sliced through, he tags Richard Eckert.
Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship visits the land of the rising sun. And as the morning shadows stretch long and thin, it's the Origami Pretzel, the figure-eight racetrack better known as Suzuka, that will host round 2 of 12 on the Season 6 calendar. And all the simulated open-wheel racing from both the 40-minute opening feature and the 25-minute sprint that follows can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Konnichiwa everyone, and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. Way up in the press box to bring you our World's Eye view is yours truly, Bill Soupzon, along with Sean Crackers Ambrose. Down in the production van, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is our director, Amjed Yaman, armed with camera locations created exclusively for GSRC by its in-house director of photography, Dougie Beard.
And as cyberspace flows into your place over the next 15 streaming award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines and all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the doubleheader Formula Renault 2.0 Championship event that will immediately follow.
And Crackers, for years I've been calling for the demolition of the Suzuka overpass in lieu of an intersection. Now, despite the fact that my suggestion continues to fall on deaf ears, this place should still make for a good stage for some exciting racing.
Soup, Konnichiwa, and good day to all of the race fans out there. We are located here in Suzuka City, Japan today. They opened the track in 1962. Place first started as a test track for Honda with a variety of corner types, a few high-speed options, and a figure-eight layout that offered a more equal amount of left and right turns, made it perfect as a test track, but a challenge as a racetrack, as we will find out today. It hosted F1 in 63 and 64 before F1 went to Fuji. And they modified it several times, and in 83 the Casio Triangle was added, and the Degner curve was made into two corners instead of one long curve. F1 returned in 87, and Suzuka has hosted the Japanese Grand Prix all but 2 years since. Now, the last time this series came here was round 7 of last year when Gunnar Niehaus won the feature race and Todd McLeod took the sprint. You can see those totals for the event on screen, but the best way to get an idea of what it's like to get around the 17 turns on this 5.8 kilometer, 3.6 mile racetrack is to go on board with the GSRC Formula Renault.
All right, we've got Scott Newton in the GSRC Formula Renault 2.0, so let's do a lap around Suzuka. Coming down to turn 1, even though you're likely to see passes here, it's going to be hairy on the entry. You're braking and turning at the same time, which means drivers will be on the limit and will make too wide rather risky. Turn 2 is basically an extension of turn 1, but you'll use that banking to swing the car down and around, carrying your speed. Bringing the car across the track, we head into the S's. These bends get longer and longer as they go, slowing the car with each one. Try to set up for each successive corner instead of drifting wide at the exit. The final right-hander can be especially tricky since it tightens towards the end. Once you come out of the last one, you've hit Dunlop, but in the Renault, it's easily flat out. Hug the left side of the track to shorten it up and set yourself up for Degner 1. A stab of the brakes and a flick of the wheel will take you clattering across the curb at a high rate of knots. Then before you know it, you've got to slow much more for Degner 2. Tucking it way down to the apex will be critical through here. After you head under the bridge, you then approach the hairpin. The kinked entry can make it tough to predict whether a driver will stay defensive, and that sometimes causes race-ending wrecks under braking. Like most hairpins, just square off the exit of this baby for the best possible launch. And you'll really need it because the long turn 12 is essentially a straight in this car. Keep your foot to the floor and hug the inside. The draft might help just enough here to offer you an opportunity to overtake into spoon, but this double apexer has a quick entry for the first half. You let the car drift out and slow it down some more for the second apex. The exit off of here is going to be one of the most important ones of the course. Hesitate to get on the power and you'll regret it on the long climb up the backstream. This is another spot where the slipstream will make battles erupt often, but once again, going too wide will really separate the brave from the faint of heart. Going through 130R side by side will frazzle nearly everyone's nerves. Then you've got an excellent opportunity to outbrake your opponent into the Casio Triangle. But like Scott shows, it's going to be easy to come in here too hot. Keep the car steady over the curb so that you can get your foot to the power confidently. The final turn is an easy, gentle bend. Bring the car across to the racing line, and if you kept it all together, you've now finished a lap around Suzuka.
Joe Peak on the mic and Scott Newton on the wheel, taking us around the origami pretzel that is Suzuka. Thanks to Apex Racing UK for providing today's lap guide. Now, right now is the moment in the broadcast where I'm supposed to recap the previous round. To do justice to the opening round event from Bathurst, I would need a lot more than the 15 Streamy Award-worthy minutes allotted for Countdown to Green. Nevertheless, here's the abridged version. In the feature, while leading, Jean-Francois Godin made contact with Mark Usher and Godin finished 8th. Oscar Mangman took the lead but hit the wall and fell back into 3rd. Charlie Summers had the lead until he crashing out, and guess who? Usher again. Summers got 28th and Usher got 29th. Christian Koch got as high as 2nd place, but a 30-second pit stop for repairs had him finish in 8th. Lo and behold, Mangan found himself back in the lead with 3 minutes remaining, but then the notorious Bathurst landmine exploded and Mangan hit the wall and finished 18th. By process of elimination, Brazilian Aécio Telles got the win. Phil Reed survived from 14th to finish in 2nd, and Christian to catch took 3rd. And there you see the driver's stand. You can bring those down, Director. We don't need those up quite yet here. In the spirit of Sylvia Hurt earned the pole. In the sprint race, Sylvia Hurt earned the pole, but the Mount Panorama looming above his dashboard, he decided to start from the pits. Now, fearless of the road ahead was Odd Jonas Villman, who led the way up the mountain but did not complete the first lap, making Hurt's pit road start seem like a wise call. Hurt finished 18th, William got 26th there. Christoph Holstein had the lead for 4 laps until losing it to Jean-Francois Godin, who held on for the win. Christian Koch came from 8th to 2nd to finish in 2nd position, and Holstein held on for 3rd. Now, the feature race winner was Aécio Telles. He found trouble and he finished outside the sprint points in 21st. Now let's go ahead and bring up those graphics again if we can. So let's look at how this stands with one race in the book. They pretty much mirror the first event results. With a 3rd and a 4th, defending champion Christian Tkach of Red Devil Racing leads the way. A runner-up and a 7th for Mega Drive's Phil Reed has him a point back in 2nd. A disappointing 10th in the feature was made up by the win in the sprint, and Evo Sonic's Jean-Francois Godin sits in 3rd. A feature race win, but a 0 in the sprint leaves Facchini's Racing's Aécio Telles in 4th, tied with Vector Sim Sports' Christian Koch. No team put more than one driver in the top 10. So now, when we go over and we look at the team points, it's not surprising that they are very close. Koch and Mike Mittner, they have Vector Sim Sports out in front. Tkach and Summers are going to be tough for Red Devil Racing. TDT Racing has got to be pleased with their start, as Urkel Lindstrom and Bruno Dometer has them in a tie for 2nd, just a point out of the lead. Last season's champion duet of Reed and Nolden are back again, but under new colors of Mega Drive. Godin and the Milkman Andy Cowley return for Vector Evo Sonic there in 5th, tied with SimRC powered by Renee Osterkap and Patrick Jung. Now, the woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Such is the case for all the drivers in this series, with only one event finished and 11 yet to go before they sleep. But Crackers, the doubleheader format is kind of unique here to the AOR. Walk our first-time viewers through this series and the race details.
Soup, first, I'll tell you, I took the one less traveled by, sir. Anyway, nice Frost reference there, buddy. Series details, Season 6, Round 2 of 12. Second weekend, it's here at Suzuka. The combined feature and sprint race, but you'll see these two great events. Formula Renault 2.0, if you've not seen or driven this car, get one, please. It's a fun, wicked fun car. 2,000 cc's, 4-cylinder, 16-valve, naturally aspirated powered motor. The setups today are open now for this feature race. They only get 40% of fuel, and that will mean there'll be a pit stop. The format, as we said, 2 races today, a feature race and a sprint race. That means we do have the potential for 2 different winners. Maybe someone sweeps today. We'll see. It's the standings, not the standings, but the start of the race is a standing start. That means you don't get any time to heat up the tires. the first trip around here through the S's could be very tricky with cold tires. No fast repairs. You get no help. Incident cap, yes, it does vary for the feature in the sprint race. We'll get back to that in a few. The weather today, it's not bad condition for racing. It's clear, 73 degrees on track, 83 on track, 73 degrees outside. A lot of wind though, Soup. 12 miles an hour wind means it could get a little tricky out there when you get to the top of the hill. Now today's event, this feature is 40 minutes with, I said, one stop. So your pit window rather large, 40's just shy of getting you to complete this race. So taking only the fuel you need or using only the fuel you need and keeping the car light could be your way up to the front. Now, we will grid based on qualifying here in the first race, and there is a 16x limit on incidents. After that, you'll be DQ'd. 16x is meaning any off tracks or contacts with another driver or loss of control of the vehicle can rack up incident points, and these are standard featured points today here in this event. But Soup, man, I got to run this car yesterday here and had a lot of fun there. I told you in the pre-race when we were getting together talking about this, there's a lot of wide open action here. You'll be on the pedal for a while in a couple of spots, and it's going to be wicked fun. They're going to be side by side through several of these high-speed turns.
Yeah, now a mistake by the series organizers have given the drivers an extra 5 minutes to qualify, so still have a little more time here to burn. A little longer countdown to green than we're used to, but Sean's got plenty to talk about. Sean, so often these races come down to drafting, and certainly there are some great places to get in the toe and make a slingshot pass here at Suzuka.
Boy, Soup, there really are. I mean, we'll get back to the front straightaway, the start-finish line. We'll get back to that when we come around the track, though. But, out of Degner and down to the hairpin in turn 11, really, really good opportunity to get around somebody and outwork them into that hairpin. The hairpin, very tricky. Car has a tendency to slide off, but if you get a good exit on the hairpin, it sets you up for 200R, which is a wide open, flat out experience through there. Certainly great drafting opportunities all the way to Spoon Curve, and then you get the backstretch, which is another wide open section of the track that basically you don't have to lift when you actually get to turn 14 down the backstretch. That's really just a kink to the left. In this Formula Renault 2.0, you are flat out through there all the way into turn 15, Soup, down into that chicane there. Now, getting out of the chicane in the last curve, that right-hander, you hit it. And the start-finish line is right there, basically at pit entrance. And, just last night in another league that we cover, in the Premier Racing League, the Cup cars were here, ran the East Course configuration, and the race was literally won off of that last curve.
Wow.
They're going to be side-by-side coming out of there, and you better be ready for a wild ride if you're the guy stuck on the outside.
Now, the last time we were here, we brought up that graphic before where Gunnar Nienhaus won the feature race. There was a great battle between, and they talked about it in the forums, and it was between Jean-Francois Gaudin and Scott Newton. And they actually went side by side out of Spoon all the way through 14, that 130R, and it really wasn't decided until they got down into the Casio Triangle. Sean, you were out there. Do you have to lift for that kink between Spoon and into the Casio Triangle, or is that flat out?
No, that's what I was talking about there. When that's 130R there, turn right. 14. Yeah, you're flat out. You don't have to lift, and honestly, you can do it side by side. Now it's going to get a little wicked if you're that car caught out on the right. You've got some area to run off, but again, there's only 16 incident points over this opening section here. 40 minutes. You're going to have more than 16 laps to get around this track, so. If you're counting on a 1X every time you get out to the right of that, well, you better use them carefully, almost like a push-to-pass. If you want to try and use that area out to the right to your advantage, you can, but like I said, you'll suffer the off-track penalty for it.
Got it. Now, the opening round was at Bathurst, and the race stewards, we thought were going to be very busy, but apparently they got a lot of sleep during the week because they were very kind to these drivers. There were only one penalty handed down. Adam Tierney's going to get an end-of-line penalty. They're not going to let him qualify for the sprint race, so he's going to have to start at the back of the pack. And then there was some good news as Patrick Jung there are bonus points if you can race an entire race without any incidents. He did that, and then he picked one up after he crossed the start-finish line. He made contact with somebody, and iRacing gave him a penalty, and he didn't get his bonus point. He appealed it, and the race stewards were very kind, so they gave him that point back. So, Sean, I can't think of I don't know, how can I phrase this? Let me varnish my opinion so nobody gets their splinter in their ego, but I don't know why they would choose to start a season at Bathurst. That was really a challenge. I think Suzuka is going to be a lot kinder to these guys.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree with you more. I do think this will be a better circuit. Starting at Bathurst the comparison for me is like the modified guys, the open wheel modified guys starting their season at Martinsville. It's like, why?
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to make? Why do you want to make everybody angry in the first race? No, but seriously, Bathurst was a lot of fun. But no, this is there's room to get around here. There's a little bit of room to run off. Okay. Because Lord knows I did it enough yesterday. But there's a lot of speed here. I love this combination, this car, this track. You're really able to let the throttle go, and with several high-speed turns like 200R, like 130R. And it's gonna be fun to watch because they're gonna be side by side, even three to four wide when they're heading down either the back stretch or the front stretch, heading for those turns. Somebody's going to have to give.
Now, full disclosure that the series organizers, and they do a really smart thing, what they do is mirror the actual schedule of the official iRacing series for the Formula Renaults. So it really wasn't in the hands of the series organizers here for the ARR guys. They just go wherever iRacing decides to go. That was a tough opening round, so Suzuka should be much kinder here as we look to see what's going on. Some interesting things we talked about some team championships. Remember that Kerry Nolden and Phil Reed were your champions last time for Aperture Racing. Last round, I was wondering if they were back, and sure enough, they were teamed back up. They're just racing under new colors of Mega Drive, which I believe is a hardware is what that is, I believe. If I'm correct, if I know what's going on that one. It's a Sega Genesis. That's what it is. Okay, there we go in the U.S. Got it. So team championship going on really, really close in that championship after one round. And what's interesting is we have some hot shoes out here that were not back. We don't have some of the guys that raced full seasons last season, Sean, but look at these guys like Oscar Magden is back here really fast. Mark Usher going to make a full run on the season.
Yeah, Usher's here. Christian Tkach is here. Phil Reed. I mean, the field is Michael Mintner. I mean, the field is littered with guys that, let's face it, any one of them can win this race. And have we even talked about Knut Martinsen much? Always fear the Scandinavian guys. You know what I mean?
The Orange Viking.
Yes.
And a guy to watch out for that was actually leading a little bit at Bathurst until, of course, he ran into trouble like so many others. And that was Charlie Summers.
Charlie.
Charlie Summers he's teamed up with Christian Tkach for Red Devil Racing. Those guys are going to be tough. Charlie's sitting second right now in qualifying.
Yeah, I talked to Christian a little bit during practice yesterday. He wasn't really feeling this track. He said it was going to take him a while, a lot of practice. And right now, based on qualifying, I mean, I think he's going to be pretty happy to start in the top 10. But Charlie seems to have a much better handle on the track, able to get that car down into the 1 minute 54 second range. And that's going to be good enough to probably start him up front here. I think, yes, he's gotten all three of his laps in right now, sits second.
Yeah, I would think the most everybody has their laps in. There are a few guys still out there, but I think the qualifying is pretty much done as they gave them a few extra minutes. So since this is a standing start, let's go to the grid a little bit before it is finished. That way, Sean and I can make sure that we get our GSRC bonus for getting all the way through before they go green. On the front row, Oscar Mangden. He's going to be good inside of Charlie Summers.
Row 2, Christian Koch and Mark Usher.
Go to row 3. It is Josh Thompson. Watch out for him. He's fast as well. Jean-Francois Godel, pole sitter at Bathurst, the winner of the sprint race. Sean?
Row 4, Jordy Lopez Jr. and Scott Newton.
The SimRC driver, Renee Osterkamp, in the number 9 spot, and the defending champion, Christian Tkach, in 10th.
All right, Soup, 11th, going to be Michael Mintner and Phil Reed in 12th.
Manuel Hoyer and Lawrence Suddenstrike to right in 13th and 14th.
In row 8, it's going to be Ty McLeod and Knut Martinson.
Daniel Morris in 17th inside of the milkman, Andy Cowie.
All right, we'll go to row 10, Christoph Holstein and Patrick Kessler.
Hidden Blackjack, Stefan Ash. The double duck spot, Evan Emre.
All right, row 12, Harry Damon and Patrick Young.
Lee Robinson and Urkel Lindstrom in the next spot behind him.
Oh, you missed Sarah Dove there.
I missed
Sarah Dove.
Little
Yeah,
Bird. Sorry about
25th.
that.
Lee Robinson, 26th. Urkel Lindstrom, 27th. Alexander Waldo, 28th. Sue.
Darren Potter and Jonas Vastamaki in the 30th spot.
All right, I'll take the rest here. We've got Ben Scott, 31st. Silvio Hurt, 32nd. And Adam Tierney going to start last today. Sue, last for Tierney, 33rd.
That's from that penalty that he got for being a little too aggressive there on the first lap at Bathurst. Okay, there's a few more seconds here. The drivers are taking their spot. It is a morning here in Japan. It is the land of the rising sun, and that is what's happening to old Saul right now as it's coming up. The lights are off. The engines are starting to harmonize. The AOR Formula Renault 2.0 Championship round true from Suzuka is about to get underway. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And Oscar Mangdon leads the stampede down in that sweeping right-hander, followed by Charlie Summers. On the inside, protecting third is Coke. Looking to the outside, it's Usher in the blue machine. Some contact behind. Oh, a big kerfuffle back there. Eric Lindstrom, we'll come back and get it later. Eric Lindstrom involved on it. Ben Scott also
keep
involved.
Going, Soup. I got it.
Yeah, it was Darren Potter. My goodness. All that going on in the back. Sean's taking a look at it out front. Mangdon has opened up about a second lead over Coke, Summers, and then a big battle down here for fourth position. Fifth position, Josh Thompson, Francois Godin, Lopez. These guys are nose to tail as they go beneath the underpass. Sorry, you have to go beneath an overpass. Let's get the ups and downs right on that. Osterkamp back there in 9th, rounded out in top 10. Michael Mittner, a big battle going on back there about 7th, 8th back. They work their way now through 12. The leaders making their first run down into Spoon. This is this kind of double apex left-hander that sets up the long drive into the scary 130R. And Knut Martinson has had an issue as well. Just see what happened to Martin. Looks like right out of Degner. Might have got a little bit of a punt there from Ty McLeod, I think. It was actually beneath the overpass, so I couldn't see it. So Ty, if I laid the blame on you there when you didn't deserve it. Going through, Look at that, going through the Casio Triangle.
And off the track, trying to get back on. Right in front of traffic there. Newton hanging on. Battle for second.
That's Coke on the inside, Summer on the outside. Summers is going to lose it, move Coke up into second position. Summers back to third. Godin has made his way to fourth. Thompson running in fifth. Everybody, it looks like Darren Potter has called it today. Lee Robinson has brought it in. Patrick Jung has also called it today. It looks like Knut Martinson, after his nose into the wall, he's still racing right now on 26th position.
Yeah, Soup, they were all involved in an opening lap incident there at the back. Started with Harry Damon and Sarah Dove. Yeah, let's get the replay on that.
Sean, you had a look at it. We'll go ahead and right now. This is on lap 1.
Yeah, it was Soup, and like I said, it's Sarah Dove right there getting checked up with Damon right in front, Damon just in front, and several cars have to try and avoid that. A lot of cars involved, a lot of the ones that you just mentioned sitting in the pit already.
Yeah, it's kind of a double hit. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, well, you saw Dove check up there, and when she did, she got a little bit there in the back of Damon, and everybody goes out to the right. So tough break for everyone there at the back. There were about a half a dozen cars involved in that.
And and we're going to look at Knut. Then we're going to see if Charlie Summers has had an issue as well. Summers just had Summers just had an off. as we are live right now, if I'm correct looking at this, yeah. There, he just had an off. He was running in third, so he dropped a bunch of spots. There you see him in the red and white and black machine there, the Red Devil racing car. Just goes a little bit wide. He gets out there, and by the time he brings it back on, there, oh, he actually came across, he brought it back on, lost control, came across the track, and he loses about, well, he's fallen back to 8th, so he lost 5 spots. All this going on behind Oscar Mangum, who's out there with a nice, comfortable lead right now of 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, Oscar's gotten off to a solid start, Soup, and making his way around. He is about 1.5 seconds up the field here from Christian Koch, who does have good pace right now, but Mangan, that last lap, fastest car on the track, and seems to have found the groove here early, just a couple laps in.
There is a bonus point for having the fastest lap during the race, and right now he's got that one lined up for himself. Best battle right now is back for 4th position. Well, 3rd position, really. It's Josh Thompson trying to stay ahead of Jean-Francois Godin. Jordi Lopez, now there's a driver we haven't seen much of. Boy, he's having a good run right now. Racing in 5th. That blue car behind him, that's Mark Usher. Then the last car in the train, the familiar yellow car of SimRC colors there of Renault Oosterkamp. These guys are really close right now. They are quite a bit behind, almost 3 seconds to get to Christian Koch in 2nd.
Now, Oosterkamp has picked up a couple of spots already, being patient right now. Oosterkamp also looking for that rhythm here early. This track has a lot of flow to it, Sue. Once you really get into a groove here, it's easy to pick up time as the tank starts to get a little bit lighter on the car.
And there's a move now as they work their way into the Casio Triangle. This is really close, trying to make a peak on the outside. Thompson was able to fend it off. That was Godin, made a peek in there. He lost a lot of momentum, though, and this is going to give Jordi Lopez a chance to take it down into 1. Let's see what type of line Godin takes. Godin kind of does what we call the Sam Hornish creep there, kind of just eased his way across the track. Lopez got to the inside as they work through 1 and 2 now, and sure enough, Lopez is going to get that position, move him up to 4th. The French-Canadian driver back to 5th, and Godin watching the whole thing from the popcorn position in 5th, Mark Usher.
Yeah, that was a really strong move by Lopez. Lopez, boy, he looks really good today, Sue.
Well, that was all set up by a failed attempt of Godin to get around Thompson, and when it didn't work through the triangle, he had no momentum down the main stretch, and Lopez says, okay, pick a lane, I'll go inside or outside, whatever you leave me, and he did a good job of getting that done. Let's drop back a little bit. Now, Oosterkamp behind, it was Charlie Summers. Look at this. Phil Reed has got around Charlie Summers. Summers was racing in 8th position. Reed just got him. And now Summers, who was fast, remember, he's here, what did he qualify 2nd, if I remember right? Yeah, he was on the front row. He's now being challenged by Michael Mittner.
Yeah, Mittner's right there. Mittner already up a spot in the top 10, and he sees more in front of him.
And
Definitely, Mittner looking to the outside there.
Look at the depth of this field. Here's Mittner, who's fast. Look who's back there racing in 11th. That's not because he's had trouble. It's just he's not fast enough today. That's your defending champion, Christian Koch. Best he can do is 11th right now. But let's move up to a spot. Here comes Mittner taking a peek on Summers. Summers is going the wrong direction.
Oh, Mittner going to have the advantage here. Heading through 130R, yeah, and Mittner gets that position from him. Now they got to get down to the Casio Triangle and get through it.
Stay on this a bit longer. We'll see if Koch makes a move. Now, those are teammates there. Summers and Koch are teammates. Christian may be saying, oh, look at this. And Summers has come. I almost wonder if the trip through the alfalfa that Summers took didn't damage that car. We'll know by how long he's in the pits. If he's in his box for 4 or 5 seconds, that means he's just coming in. If he's in there longer than that, I think the car picked up some damage. And based on the pace he was running, wouldn't be surprised me if there was something wrong. Sean, sometimes on these cars, it's not even the wings. It's actually the undercarriage that can get damaged, right?
They can be a bit fragile at times. Yes, Soup. And these curbs here can be a bit unforgiving.
And yes, sure enough, he's in there for quite a while, 9-10 seconds. Yeah, so if you cover these series long enough, you get to know the drivers, you get to know, something's rotten in Denmark there. That was not the pace that Summers should have had. Meanwhile, let's go up front for a second. Oscar Magnan. Now, this is his first full-time run here in Season 6. He did a little bit, came in at the very end, had a cup of coffee last season. He's here for the full meal this time. He's being ran down by Christian Koch. That interval about 1.4, so just under 1.5. We'll mind the gap here.
Yeah, it's still really, really close. Koch not letting him get away. Magnan's still turning in the fastest laps of the race. In fact, the last trip around was the fastest lap of the race. So Magnan still got pace, but Christian Koch has that pace to match. Very, very little very, very little differs between each lap on these guys right now. They've got, I don't know, probably looks like almost 30 minutes left, Soup. Maybe about 16 laps.
Let's go to fourth real quick. Working through the Casio Triangle. Now, Usher, remember, he was back there, I said, in the popcorn position. Well, he's put down the popcorn, and he's got around Lopez now, and Godin. He's moved his way up to fourth. And we have some issues with to catch. And, he had a self-spin. Look at that, Sean.
He did, coming through the Casio Triangle there. As you come over the crest, he gets it off to the right. And it looks like actually it was the first curve to the inside that got him started. And then it got out to the right, and that didn't help. He spun it in front of traffic, able to get back on track, do it cleanly without causing any trouble there. But, man, he loses a lot of spots, Soup. He loses 6 spots right there.
He didn't hit anything, but he had it off into the sand. And if you talk to his partner, Charlie Summers, for Red Devil Racing, he did the same thing, and he had damage. So hopefully Takach's car is not damaged. We'll find out when he takes his pit stop. Let's go back up now. We're looking there at 17th catch. Let's go back up to 4th position, this battle that we were looking at. Usher has made his way around. Now, he qualified 4th. He must have had a bad start because he had fallen back quite a bit. He's back up there. Look at the battle behind him, though. Lopez, Godin, and Osterkamp in a great battle for 5th. Lopez is out there in, I'm going to say that's yellow. He's in a yellow and black machine racing in 5th position. Godin back there in that dark car, the Vector SimSport machine. And then the familiar yellow with the spotted black of SimRC.
Yeah, on board with Renee Osterkamp right now, and setting up here to take us through 130R at full speed.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
You can see this is Usher up in front. Lopez looking to get in there as they come through 130R. It's really close in front. Lopez, Usher takes a defensive line. They go through Casio. Look at the kind of angle that Lopez tries to get a bite off of here. Sean, he's close enough. He's about a half car length back. This is a shorter straight, but he should have enough time. Let's see what Usher type of line he takes. He's going to leave just enough room for Lopez to get in there. Careful. Now that's going to open the door on the outside. It's going to be 3 right into 1, boys. You got to get settled out. And my goodness, Godin said that's not the way you want to do it. Meanwhile, up in front, Lopez still trying. He touches the rear of Usher and turns him around. The right rear, the left front of Lopez got into the back of Usher.
Oh, Usher comes up in front of DeRike and Holstein there. Ooh, that was close. Usher able to get back on track. There's the contact on the replay. Car goes around. Usher out in the grass. Slides all the way back to 11th place, Sue.
Now look, they pay us to call him as we see him. Honestly, I thought Usher gave him enough room, and it was Lopez who was really coming in hot, trying to keep the car down on the inside. I don't think that Lopez did a good job of keeping the car down low. But there's always 2 sides to the story, and we don't want to influence the race stewards or call them the way they see him, but that was a tough break for Usher.
Yeah, I don't think Mr. Lopez is getting a Christmas card from Mr. Usher. Probably wouldn't wait around for it. Let's put it that way.
So that settles down a little bit, but Usher's fast. We don't know if he picked up any damage. We'll keep an eye on that.
Well, Jean-Francois Godin, obviously, he learns a lesson from watching that battle and realizes, okay, I'm going to pick my opportunity maybe a little more carefully here and set him up for a power pass. 130R, here we go.
And Godin, here it is right there. Now he's on the outside coming into the Casio Triangle. Lopez, he's going to have trouble. Let's see, it's all about the exit off of this final right-hander to set it up. This looks like the same thing. This is deja vu all over again. This time it's Lopez up in front. Lopez is going to take his half out of the middle, going to leave the inside open for Godin. Godin, they are side by side going into one. Godin is in real good position here, real good presentation, and he's able, if he can keep the car woed up, yep, he gets the pass made. Move Godin up to 4th, Lopez back to 5th.
Now, Osterkamp decided to come in the pit there, Soup. That could be the first of what we see are many pit stops here.
And we'll see how long he is in there, and yeah, that's just a normal stop for him. In for 4.6 seconds in the box, 29 from cone to cone. Uh-oh.
Canute.
The milkman is in trouble.
Yes, he is, Soup. And and he also gets Adam Tierney trying to get by. Tierney gets contact also. Ouch. I think that's going to hurt Adam Tierney's car also. Ouch, ouch,
that
ouch.
That was a big hit for Tierney. That's part of the price you pay when you have an end-of-line penalty. You're back there, more traffic to deal with. Look at this. Trying to get out of the way.
Almost gets by. Adam was on the binders and just trying to keep the car heading in in the same direction, and he gets a piece of that. Tough luck for him. Mangan back up front though, Soup. Maybe starting to open things up just a little bit on Christian Koch.
Yeah, it was 1.5 seconds. We checked in last time. He's pushing it almost up to 2 seconds right now. Koch racing in second spot. We're going to go to 8th position. We got something here. We haven't talked much about this guy. We're going to look at Christoph Holstein. He's leading Lawrence Sudden Strike to right now. Right looking to get in there. Watching the whole thing back there is Usher again. These boys are watching the broadcast. Holstein and DeReich, you guys are... This guy coming through if that black and blue machine of Mark Usher is healthy right now. Now look at the line that Holstein takes. Again, takes that defensive line into one, then realizes there is no challenge. Then he eases it out so he can get a good entry into one.
Yeah, all right, we got more cars cycling through here. Evan Imre in, Adam Tierney in. Getting those pit stops down. We already mentioned the ones that had come in before. Yunus Fastamaki, he came in also, Soup.
Osterkamp that took that early stop, he's still going to be the leader of all the cars who pitted. Remember, he pitted from about 4th or 5th position.
Tierney taking the damage repair on his Formula Renault.
Yeah, that was a tough shot he had there on the left sides as he tried to get around the spinning car of Andy Cowie. Looking at Tierney right there. That's a...
Oh boy, more trouble for Usher.
He was looking to the inside of Sudden Strike right. Remember, we talked about it. He said he was hungry. Took a little more than he could chew there on that one, as he's going to fall back into 12th now.
And he just loses it, Soup. Just to the throttle a little bit too quick there, spins the car around. Fortunately, gets out in front of, gets back under power without getting in anybody there as several cars got through. Usher slides a couple of more spots down to 12th.
Mark needs to take a deep breath. You're plenty fast. See what you can salvage here. You can't get it all back up in one corner. He's now fallen down to 12th position. Look in here now. We're going to go to 6th. Look at this battle going on for 6th spot. On the inside, that's Mittner in the defensive line. That's Reed trying to find a way around. They work down into 1.
Look at Phil go.
Yeah. And then we have a Ben Scott.
Ben Scott, yeah.
Just in front of our leader. Right in front of Oscar Mangum as he goes by. Maybe it's worth seeing here. Watch it. That's Mangum right behind him. We're going to go on board. Maybe we can take a look from our viewpoint of our leader when we get a chance. There's Oscar right there. On board. Having a nice race. Nothing going wrong, Sean. Everything's fine. And whoa! Remember, Oscar was leading with 3 laps to go at Bathurst in the feature race. Had that thing locked up until he hit what he called a Bathurst landmine, one of those bumps that will bounce these Formula Renault cars right into the wall. And that's what happened to him right now.
Yeah, it's tough luck for him there. Hopefully not today. Mangan, so far, Soup has looked really strong. And you know what? He's still turning faster laps than anyone on the track, lap after lap. Stephen Ash with trouble. That was in the hairpin, coming out of the hairpin for Ash, and traffic behind them trying to make their way through. Let's pick it up on the replay.
Sarah Dove does a good job of getting around, as does Alexander Valdo. Watch it. Here comes Sarah. Go this way, and there goes Valdo. And a nice job. How about a tip of the hat to Ash? He wanted to spin that car around. He was in a hurry to get back, and he thought better of it. Nice job, Stefan.
Okay, now we still have basically the top 14 have not come in, Soup. We're at that point right now. Again, I said it is a large window, but boy, you're kind of getting down to that point. Last 20 minutes left to go. I'm thinking I want a pit stop somewhere here really, really soon.
Yeah, the guy you can't forget about is racing in 15th. We don't need to go there. It's Rene Oosterkamp. He came in for that early stop. He had a fast one. 4.6 seconds in the box, 30 seconds cone to cone. That was pretty darn quick. He's back there putting in some pretty good lap times right now. I think Rene thought, I think I'm faster than these guys he was racing with. He was following Godin and Lopez and all the battling that was going on there. I think he decided to come in what my dad called the early peel right reveal. If we look at Phil Reed in a battle, you peel off early. What's revealed later is you find yourself way up in front of people forget about you. Mittner going off into the sand. Michael Zandvoort is next week, buddy. That's where the sand is. You don't want to pick it up here in Suzuka.
Boy, it keeps it off the wall, but look at all that sand he picks up on the tires. Gotta get back on track, try and get those scrubbed off, get back to speed down to the hairpin.
This is a pretty good battle there. If we look at Holstein in 7th, he's just ahead of Mittner now. And De Rijk was in there. De Rijk's following him. There he is. De Rijk back in 9th watching the whole thing. Some of these drivers have got to be seeing these guys go through once or twice or 3 times. Usher has probably passed guys at least twice or 3 times on the track. He's put it off. He gets them, goes off in the grass, and gets them again. Let's stay on this battle. This is a good one.
For a track that's a little over 3.5 miles long, it's amazing how these cars are spread out, and really there's traffic everywhere right now.
I like this combination there. Now look at this. This is Oosterkamp. This is one of the things that Rene has to deal with back there. Is he's got to get around some of the slower cars that have yet to make their pit stop. He just did as he got around Valdo. It's got quite a distance, about 2 seconds to get to Little Bird Sarah Dove running in 13th position. And she might actually come in for her stop before Oosterkamp gets there.
Just saw Christian to catch, pick up a spot, and get past Silvio Hurt back here. Gets to catch back up to 21st. Now, to catch has pitted, Soup. They got that pit stop out of the way. And we'll see if Catch has any pace to get back up towards at least the top 10 at this point.
The leaders of the cars who have pitted, Oosterkamp well out in front. Charlie Summer, remember him? As Summers was having that great run, had a couple spins. He's second of all the cars that have pitted. A guy we really have to keep an eye on is racing in 19th position right now. Maybe let's highlight him. This is Jonas Vastamaki. He's third overall of all the cars who have pitted. He should be good to go from here. 57 seconds behind the leader, but having a nice run in 19th. We'll see how that sorts out when all the other guys in front of them need to make their stops. There's still 13, 14, 15, 16 cars ahead that still have to come in. Leaders in.
Yep. Here he comes, Soup. Oscar Mangan getting into the pit stop. Down the lane. Can't overshoot the box. Don't want to lose any time here.
His nearest threat, Oosterkamp, yet to get to the Casio Triangle. Getting there now. These will be really fast stops. Oh, he's been in there for a while. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Something is fishy in Denmark.
Yep, that didn't work out as planned.
Now
Daniel Morris is in.
It looks like is he going to get out in front of Osterkamp? Yes, he does, by about 4 seconds. But that stop from Mangden was much longer. Maybe not going to be a factor when in relationship to Rene Osterkamp. Maybe a huge factor in relationship with Christian Koch, who is our new leader.
Yeah, and Josh Thompson slots up to second. Soup. Josh Thompson.
Who is Josh Thompson? I want Josh come in and talk to us. We got to find out a little bit more about you. Racing out of the United Kingdom. Well, let's not make assumptions. It's UK and Ireland there.
Yes. Boy, and you know what? Not a bad place to be right now. About just under 3 seconds under 3 seconds behind Koch. Still got to get that pit stop in, but with the trouble Mangan had, I'd say at this point, anything is possible in this race. Far from over. 15 minutes to go, Sue.
Yeah, some big-name drivers well back in. To catch still in 20th position. That's your defending champion. Looking at, here we go now from third position. Here come Thompson. The guy that he was racing with was Osterkamp. That was that battle. Osterkamp and Godin all in that battle. Osterkamp had enough of it. He peels off. Osterkamp right now, right behind Sarah Dove. I told you it took a while for him to get there. Let's see if he can get out before Thompson. Thompson's still in the pit. He's in there for 5 seconds. That's about a normal stop. So Thompson rolling. Let's see where Osterkamp is. Here comes Osterkamp. This might be close. I think Thompson's going to get out first.
Oscar Mangan just got by him. Mangan picking up another spot after taking his pit stop.
Thompson does get out about 3.4 seconds ahead of Osterkamp, who was able to get around the little bird. Mangan and Thompson, the leaders of the cars who have pitted. But, of course, the big one everyone's waiting for is Christian Koch. And, Sean, you can go real close. We've seen drivers, there's only 13 minutes left to race. We've seen drivers get to, like, the 10-minute, even the 9-minute mark. So Christian might decide just to run it as long as he can right now. He's got clear track ahead of him.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that strategy at play. And there's nothing wrong with that strategy. Just don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
You don't leave yourself much time to recover, and that's why I'm kind of the guy who likes to maybe take that 20-minute mark, maybe 15-minute mark, but I don't like to push it much past that. I want to leave myself enough time if I screw up by 5 or 6 seconds, a la Oscar Mangan.
Well, here we go. Let's see if Koch comes in, and there he goes. He comes in as well. Let's see if the French-Canadian Jean-Francois Godin follows suit. Now we're going to get a new leader out there. You do not get bonus points for leading a lap. You do get bonus points for fastest lap and pole. Nothing there for Jean-Francois Godin. But meanwhile, Koch is in. Now let's go ahead and pick up Mangden.
Do you get bonus points for being pretty, Sue?
If that were the case, my wife would have more than she could handle. Mangden working his way around the final corner right now. Oh, a good stop here. This is going to be close. I think Koch may get out. Koch is rolling. Koch is out in front. The pass was made in pit lane. Sean, when you're in the box for 4.5 seconds and the guy you're trying to catch is in there for 9.3, that'll help you. And that's what happened with Koch and Mangden.
Well, Mangan had only gotten about 2.5 seconds up the track in front of Koch. There on that opening stint,
yep.
And let's face it, that time in the pits is everything right now. That is the difference in the race. Your
leader right now, and we'll stay on this one because he still has a chance here to show us something. Jean-Francois Godin, and then Phil Reed is racing in second. Of course, they all need to still make their stops. Top 5 have yet to come in. Add in there Christoph Holstein, Lord Sudden Strike to right, and Mark Usher. Godin having a great start to the season. He qualified on the pole at Bathurst, had a bad opening round, was able to take some of the sting out of that by picking up the win in the sprint race in Australia. He's fast again here today in the hunt. He is a former champion, working his way through the Casio Triangle right now, and I imagine he'll come in this time, and he does. And I would think Phil Reed would follow him in as well. He does. And let's see if Holstein comes in also. And Three's Company. DeReich in as well. And how about let's make it a 5 spot. Mark Usher.
Yeah, there you go.
Now, the driver in 6th is Koch. He's already made his spot. He goes by. Godin is just pulling into his box right now. Gets him easily. Now Godin is rolling. Thompson is coming out. That's going to be close. That's Thompson going by on the high side. Thompson gets him. Thompson moves up 3rd overall. Godin's going to cycle out in 4th. That's just about where they came in. Lopez is going to cycle out just in front of Osterkamp. Rene, you tried to shuffle the deck. You tried to get around those guys. You came in early. And for Rene Osterkamp, he sees the same guys who were in front of him that were there 10 minutes ago when he came in for his start. Everybody has been in.
Yep, that is the field. In for their pit stop soup. It's now time to focus on the race ahead. And there's not much of it left. We've now got under 10 minutes. It looks to be about 5.5 laps.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I thought that Mangan was faster than Koch when they were out there before the stop. Koch picked up that advantage in pit lane. The interval is 2.2 seconds. Mangan is faster. I don't know if he's 2.2 seconds faster in 9.5 minutes. So Christian out there just needs to hit his spots, keep it smooth as dolphin skin, bring this car home.
Got a great battle for 8th place. Holstein under attack by Charlie Summers. Summers looking to gain advantage down in a spoon curve. Not going to get it. Holstein with a better line. Better exit. But here we go. The run to 130R. Can Summers get him here?
A little far back right now. He's going to come in. Maybe he's going to duck in there. He's going to force the issue. Here we go. And he gets it done. Look at that. And that's some experienced driving. I think Holstein just put out his left hand and waved him through. Mark, I heard a crash out there somewhere. We're going to go to 5th position right now. This is Lopez. Man, Lopez has really been putting on a show. Right now, he's being chased by Osterkamp. Remember, Lopez was the driver that got into it with Usher as they tried to go too wide through 1 and 2. That didn't work out. Lopez couldn't keep the car on the inside, or Mark Usher squeezed him, depending on your point of view. But right now, it's the veteran of Rene Osterkamp trying to find his way around. Now this is fun. They're going to come up into Degner. This is what Sean talked about. This used to be a sweeping right-hander. They turned it into kind of 2 turns. It's not even a double apex. 2 legitimate turns. Then the drive as you go beneath the overpass, coming down into the hairpin. We're looking here. We have Holstein just had a problem right in front of Mittner.
Yeah, Holstein's going to lose it. I think a little bit too much curve, maybe a little bit too much throttle, a combination of both.
And if we stand there, it looked like Mittner didn't get by him. Actually, Mittner clipped him.
Yeah, Mittner clipped him and wasn't very happy about it.
There's Holstein. Now watch this. He's loops. What's going on? That's Mittner who just went by.
Yeah.
And Mittner then, his car was damaged, and he put it in the wall, and Michael... in his Austrian, I could tell, was not happy with that.
No, sir, he was not, and that's a tough break for both drivers, indeed.
Some more big-name drivers having trouble, and that really hurts us. These guys are going to struggle to finish on the lead lap right now. We haven't talked about that. You want to look to see who's the last car on the lead lap, Sean? Don't even look. Take a guess. It's our buddy Silvio Hurt.
Sure is, Soup. And actually, I had been paying attention to that. I was kind of wondering if that might change. Didn't want to give that up yet. But yeah, there he is, Silvio, sitting there at 24th. It's a lot of cars that have actually managed to stay on the lead lap with 6 minutes to go.
Gotta give him credit. I mean, that's Silvio. Just so you know, I'm you, buddy. In fact, I'm not you. I'm happy. If I finish on the lead lap, it's an accomplishment for me. Congratulations to you. Let's see if you have the guts to go ahead and start it from pole position this time.
Yeah, Soup, you're not racing with these guys.
Well, Silvio saw Mount Panorama in front of us, and maybe I don't want to start from the pole, but I think he'll feel a little more confident here at Suzuka. Honestly,
yeah,
he's been pretty good when he starts from the pole. I have no complaints about that. Look at this battle we have on screen for 15th right now.
Yeah, Evan Embray keeping it exciting. I'm sorry, Christian Tkach keeping it exciting there. We're on Embray there initially. But there's Christian in the Red Devils machine.
That's your defending champion. Now we'll go up to P3. Uh-oh. Oh, I like a run coming. The guy from behind, that is Godin. And he's going to go and get that pass made into 130R. Closes the door like Queen Elsa on her coronation. And Josh Thompson dropped back and forth as they angled their way through the Casio Triangle. Not quite sure what kind of a triangle that is.
You know, it's funny. You know, just behind it, there's another two-car battle going on behind him. And
oh, yeah, look at this.
Osterkamp stepping out. Gonna try and maybe make an attack from the outside downhill into the turn one.
Osterkamp saw this before. He saw Lopez not keep the car down low, and I think maybe he says, I don't know if I trust you to keep the car on the inside, and he kind of backed out on that one. I think Renee, if he wants to make that pass, he'd rather be in the catbird seat on the inside and not have to trust the newcomer of Jordi Lopez. Although Lopez was with us for the majority of the season last time the season started. Right off the tail, looking back at Renee Osterkamp.
Man, Osterkamp has been solid today, Soup, and man, he gets a run on him here. Degner won.
We'll stay on this one, but as soon as this is done here, we're going to take a peek back up to the lead. We'll stay on this. Let's stay on this a minute here. As they drive down in, the lead is still about just over a second. Not close enough yet. Let's stay on this one. There's Osterkamp trying to see where he can go. They work down now. Coming at you. There's a good race going on for those two guys.
Yeah, and Osterkamp just can't seem to get close enough, Soup. Just close enough to pull off a pass. He can get there, but he just can't get around. And see, you know, it does it again. Jordi just steps out a little bit, breaks the momentum of Osterkamp, and Osterkamp can't do anything with it. They'll come back across the line. Jordi Lopez going to hang on to that fifth spot once again for another lap.
Okay, we better go up front here just to document this. He's knocked off another 0.2 of a second. He's got it under a second. And, of course, I'm talking about Oscar Mangan. The only reason he's back in second is because he didn't pay his pit crew enough. Or either they went out partying last night, they weren't on their game, or they had repairs. Let's not blame the pit crew. It could have been repairs that Oscar was at fault. But right now, I think Oscar's car has been repaired, and he's beginning to run him down. The timer is at 2 minutes and 19. I think it'll be the white flag lap when they come around next time.
Yeah, Mangan just turned the fastest lap of the race, Soup, that last time by. And when they come back around, it will be one lap to go. Something I have noticed out of Mangan, I don't know if this will be a concern, but it does look like his connection seems to go in and out every now and again. I think he'll be okay to the finish, but another mistake by Christian Koch like the one he just had could, down in the hairpin, could be fatal, could end an opportunity to win this feature race.
We'll try to cover all your top 10 battles right now. There are a few going on. We'll focus here on Koch and Magna because this is the one for the lion's share of the points, and it keeps closing down. You can see the yellow number on your screen separating them. 0.75 right now. Sean, if he's just, I think he's probably close enough to pick up a little bit of the toe here. Not as he drops back. Now they go through. This is this chicane, this right, left, right chicane. And this should set up the last run. Mangan pretty good through there. He knocks off another 1/10 of a second. The final lap. It's round number 2 from Suzuka, the feature race here in the AOR's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. It is Christian Koch leading Oscar Mangan.
I'm going to stick with the Osterkamp, Jordi Lopez Jr. battle. It's still close, Soup.
That is a good battle as well. Right now, it looks like Koch is just minding the gap. It is down on the first time under 7/10 of a second. It gets closer. Now they work into Degner. No room here. This is where Mangan has to be good through these two sweeping right-handers. He can get a good run. Going beneath the overpass, it's down to 6.6 seconds as now they head down into the hairpin. Not a passing zone yet because he's too far back. It's all about Mangan getting a good drive off the corner. The interval 0.65 seconds right now. I think Mangan is close enough. He's really got to get close so he has a run at him coming out of Spoon to see if he can get it done before they get to that final chicane. Don't know if he's going to get there. He needs a great run out of Spoon. Mangan back behind the Austrian driver trying to hit a thing perfect. Is he close enough to get a toe? The interval remains the same. Now the skinny pedal is all the way to the floor. 6.3 seconds. He's back, he's closing, but he's not closing enough. It could be a case of too little, too late. They work through this kink, which is 130R. No problem there. I don't think he's close enough. I believe round number 2 of the feature race is going to go as they work through the Casio Triangle. It's going to go to Christian Koch as he comes across. Everybody else is number 2 or worse because number 1 is Christian Koch. Go, Sean.
Osterkamp is going to get the position in the last turn. Got it actually in 130R. Osterkamp going to get by Jordi Lopez and wind up with a 5th place finish after battling all those laps. It really was in 130R where the action started, the approach down the backstretch. Osterkamp sets up Jordi Lopez. That was a great battle to the finish for those two. And again, Rene Osterkamp gets 5th away from Jordi Lopez.
Let's go to Sarah Dove real quick. Dove in a battle for a position right now with Manuel Hoyer. This is close. Dove on the outside working through the Casio Triangle. She has the position. Can she hold it? Watch for the drive of Hoyer. Gets coming out of here. Is there enough time before the start finish line? Here comes Hoyer. He's scooting up in his chair, but it's not in time. Dove gets that position. She's going to get 17th, 16th. Hoyer's going to get 17th. And it looks like Holstein is going to get 23rd. And on the lead lap, if he can bring it around, I think it's going to be Silvio Hurt. Well,
Silvio on the backstretch right now, Soup, approaching 130R.
Coming in. So, Silvio, a veteran of being on the sprint race pole. And I think he'll probably feel a little more confident here at Suzuka, leading the Stampede down into the first corner than he did at Bathurst. Now, the best part of any doubleheader event is the break between the races. You know, it's the perfect blend of a post-race high and pre-race jitters. At this point, GSRC is going to step away for just a moment, but we will return during the break between the feature and sprint races to run down the entire feature race results and talk to a few of the drivers. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship, Round 2 from Suzuka. We just finished the feature race, the 40-minute feature that opens the show. And Sean, before we run down the finishing order of that feature race, let's go ahead and put a final chapter on the saga that was the battle for fifth between Renault Oosterkamp and Jordi Lopez.
Yeah, let's do that. It really starts when they get into the backstretch here. They get a run, and Lopez does a good job of defending, but Oosterkamp just really gets a strong run, like he'd been waiting for it, to be honest with you. It goes to the inside here, 130R right there, the left kink. Oosterkamp able to keep it and make it stick there flat out. Keeps a good line, keeps it towards the inside, and is able to keep a good defensive line there, never giving an opportunity to Lopez to get around as they get through the triangle. And across the line, you give it to Renault Oosterkamp with a bold move there in 130R. Probably one of the more fun flat-out sections of this track in this car. Hats off to Renault Oosterkamp there. Gives us a little wave coming across the line.
A top 5 finish for him. So the finishing order for the feature race that pays full points. Your winner, Christian Koch, was able to hold off Oscar Mangan. Mangan was faster, except in pit lane. Jean-Francois Godin, Josh Thompson, a great run from him, finishes in 4th. Then we saw the battle Renault Oosterkamp getting the best of Jordi Lopez for 5th. Phil Reed, a very quiet 7th position for him. Daniel Morris, Lauren Suddenstrike to Reich, and we didn't see much of him. Patrick Kessler, a very, very, very quiet 10th for him.
All right, Soup. And again, great race today, but Mark Usher, 11th. Eunice Vastamaki, 12th. Christian Tkach, 13th. Charlie Summers, 14th. Evan Emre, 15th. Sarah Dove salvages a 16th place finish after the trouble early. Manuel Hoyer, 17th. Knut Martinson, 18th. Alexander Waldo, 19th. And Stephen Ash going to finish 20th today.
Then I'm going to jump to 24th position and do these kind of backwards. Silvio Hurt, the last car on the lead lap, scheduled to sit on the pole just inside of Christoph Holstein, who finished in 23rd. On the inside of row 2 will be Ty McLeod in 22nd, and then hitting Blackjack, Scott Newton gridded on the outside of row 2. Then we go to the big names that finished 4 laps down actually. Michael Mittner, Adam Tierney, Ben Scott, the Milkman, Andy Cowie, we saw that one. Urkel Lindstrom in 29th position, Harry Damon in 30th, and then the final 3 spots, the Magic Wand, Darren Potter, Lee Robinson, and Patrick Jung, who had such a great race last time at Bathurst, finishes last out of the points in the feature race. Well, there you have it. Nobody here for the interview. We'll stick around for a little while, Sean, before we leave. That was pretty impressive, and I thought that Oscar Mangden really put on a good show, even though he finished in 2nd.
Oh, yeah. Now, I would love to have known exactly what happened to Mangan there. Maybe we'll get an opportunity on the next race. But, the thing that's really got me concerned here, at least for the winners of this race, Soup, they're going to have to get through 24 cars.
Yeah.
Boy, that's going to be quite a call. At least to be able to do it and get through it unscathed. We saw a few incidents. Nothing overly aggressive. I think what gets you here at Suzuka is you tend to maybe overdrive a little bit, maybe push it a little bit too hard, get back to the throttle a little bit too quick, maybe in Degner 1 or Degner 2, two very, very tricky turns. Those types of mistakes we saw today will cost you tremendously. It does look like, though, we have somebody who wants to talk to Soup. Do you want to talk to Phil Reed?
He's kind of turning into a staple of the broadcast, kind of a regular segment here that we have on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Is the mid-race interview here, the between-race interview with Phil Reed. Phil, another quiet finish for you. Nice job.
Thank you very much. Yep, that was mostly the plan. I knew I didn't have the ultimate outright pace of the guys ahead. I was hoping at the end there to try and catch up to Renee and Geordie, but didn't quite have the pace. But yeah, way happy with that. Thought there was no way I was getting anything more than a top 10, so getting well into it is it's really good.
Now, last time attrition played a big factor at Bathurst. Might be a little harder this time around as you're going to be starting Ooh, you're a little farther back. If we figure 24 cars on the lead lap, you finished. So you're going to be back about 17th. That one's going to be a little uglier, and the guys right behind you are going to be very fast.
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to this because we haven't had a proper reverse sprint, because Bathurst is kind of a bit strange.
Right.
So I'm really looking forward to this one at Suzuka. I honestly have no idea how it's going to go, but I am really looking forward to it. I've got pretty decent pace. I've got better pace than I thought I had, so I'm looking forward to that.
All right. Well, I'm getting the news that the session is up, so we will let you go. Good luck to you in the sprint race, and we'll talk to you maybe at the end.
Thank you very much. I hope so.
Phil Reed, your 7th place finisher today. Okay, we're going to take another short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel so we can get all of our ducks in a row, and we'll be back to bring you the 25-minute sprint race that's going to be coming up in just a minute. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship. This is round number 2 from Suzuka. We have the feature race in the book, and now we are preparing for the 25-minute sprint race with the inverted grid of all the cars on the lead lap. No pit stops. This is green and go. Sean, this should be fun.
Mean and green, fast and furious, whatever you want to call it. It's a sprint race soup, and it's a sprint to the finish. And man, it's going to be fun. 24 cars. This field is going to have to, we're going to invert 24 cars. The guys who finished up front, they're going to have to battle their way all the way through that sea of traffic here at Suzuka to get back to the podium if they dare.
And that's one of the points that Phil Reed was making in the interview. This is really this season. Bathurst was kind of a bizarre inversion because the attrition was so big that so many of the guys were out of it. This one is rough. The fast guys are going to got a lot of cars to go through, and there are some big names up front. Christoph Holstein up there is going to be tough. Also sitting going to be gridded near the front is going to be Scott Newton. So there's some guys that are pretty fast going to be up front. Whew, we'll see how this plays out, and hopefully Silvio Hurt decides to brave it and lead them down into the first corner.
I hope he does. I mean, you're here to race.
That's right.
Why waste a good? Listen, this is a tough track, but it's not an impossible track. All right. Again, we saw some great racing in the first race. A lot of really, really good passing happened. You can definitely get around your opponent if you work on it. If you've got a little bit of patience. How about Rene Osterkamp? He had patience. He waited all race to make that move and get a top 5. So, it can be done. Silvio Hurt can do this. It just needs a good run suit.
Well, let's go ahead and quickly show them what actually, for new viewers, what actually is in store. We'll talk about the details here for the sprint race.
Right. It's 25 minutes. No pit stop will be needed. If you've got to go in, you've lost the race. Let's face it.
Yep.
Now, we are inverting the finish of the previous race. The drivers on the lead lap. There were 24 of them. Silvio Hurt will start at the top. Now, the incident cap. It's only 12 here. Honestly, Soup, I don't think we saw anybody really get close in the last race. It's not as big a factor as I thought it would be. I think we'll be okay. Now, there is slightly less points given in the feature race, but listen, that's the combination of the sprint and the feature race. Those are really the points you're looking for. So it's really important. Best result possible in both races.
Now, look, here at the Global Sim Racing Channel, we have talented color commentators to help me call these things. It's so rare that I can actually give you insight that has any meaning at all, as my talents are, well, I'm certainly talent challenged, but I can put you inside the helmet of Silvio Hurt right now. I know exactly how he's feeling, and his heart is pounding, and he wants so very much to go out there and take a shot down into the first corner. The good news, I think, for Silvio, if he does decide to do this, and I'm pretty sure he will, is that corners 1 and 2 lay out pretty good, Sean. You can get in there. It's a relatively simple corner. Then you work your way through the S's. The front part of this track is pretty conducive to being able to hold the lead.
Yeah, listen, the trick to getting through the early part of this track is not overdriving the car.
Right.
Okay, really. Just a little bit of patience. You can get through those sections, getting through the snake and through those S's. Really just a matter of hitting those curbs just right, not getting back to the power too quickly, not really laying down too much power at all through those S's. Taking it a little easy, Soup. You got to tiptoe through there just a bit to find the perfect line. But, Soup, it's time to grit up. Let's do it.
Whether he comes out or not, it remains to be seen. Silvio Hurt, Christoph Holstein on row 1.
All right, row 2, Scott Newton, Stephen Ash.
Alexander Valdo, Knut Martinson into row 3.
Row 4, Manuel Hoyer, Sarah Dove.
Rounding out the old way, Evan Imre and Charlie Summers.
All right, row 6, that's going to be Christian Tkach and Eunice Vastamaki.
Baker's doesn't spot Mark Usher, Patrick Kessler outside of him.
Row 8, Lawrence DeReich and Daniel Morris.
Next row is Phil Reed and Juri Lopez.
Row 10, Rene Osterkamp and Josh Thompson.
Hidden Blackjack, Jean-Francois Godin. He won the sprint race last time. Oscar Mangden in 22nd.
Row 12, Christian Koch, Michael Mittner back to try it again.
Andy Cowie and Urkel Lindstrom in 25th and 26th.
Row 14, Harry Damon, Darren Potter.
Lee Robinson, Patrick Jung and Adam Tierney, 29th, 30th, and 31st. Sean, we get the bonus again. You can hear the engine start to harmonize. Silvio Hurt did not take the pole, so leading the spot is going to be Christoph Holstein. Hurt is going to start from pit lane. Holstein has a good lead now on Scott Newton. Ash in third, Martinson on the inside trying to fend off fourth position as they work their way through one. Oh, there's contact. 1, 2, 3 cars involved. It's going to be more. It's an octopus putting on his socks as things are going everywhere. You can't tell what's going on. We're going to review that one. We'll put it in what we call bookmarking. We'll come back and get it. We will document the drivers who got out of it.
It was Stephen Ash and Scott Newton and everybody behind him, Soup. But yeah, we need to stick with the racing up front here.
Remember to stay with us. We'll go ahead and show you that when the race is over. Right now, out in front, enjoying a big lead, is Christoph Holstein. 2.2 seconds ahead of Charlie Summers. To catch, Lopez, DeRike, and Usher, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
Well, has to catch wound up in just a position that maybe would have liked to. Honestly, Soup, not a bad place for to catch to be right now.
I can give you some big names that were involved. Oscar Magnan was not able to go through. He got caught up in that one as well. Phil Reed right now is racing in 17th. Let's see if Phil got through. He's safe. Phil is okay. Holstein out in front right now by 1.8 seconds.
Boy, Jordi Lopez already challenging to catch, and then right behind him, you've got Usher and DeRike in 130R. Oh, everybody's scrambling.
My goodness, we look there to catch in fourth. They get that sorted out. Holstein has had an issue from the lead. We'll see if we can find it. Summers has. Our director has found it. This is in the Casio Triangle. And he just lost it. Mittner has also had a problem. He was racing well where he should have been. He's fallen back to 21st position.
Soup, you got to get on this call for the lead, buddy. It's intense. Lopez, oh man, in third place. There's I'm sorry, P2. It's Lopez back there in third. DeRike, Usher. It's a mess.
Lopez has really been the magnet for incidents right now. Look at this. This is DeRike now. DeRike and Usher. Usher in the blue car. DeRike in that dark car with some green highlights on it. Usher's going to have the preferred position. Oh, he goes a little bit off. Is he going to be able to keep it? Yes, he forces his way through. Now as they work down into the hairpin, Usher gets that spot, move him up into fourth. DeRike in fifth. Kessler watching the whole thing in sixth position behind him as they accordion up. Hoyer. Holstein back there after his spin. Renee Osterkamp and Christian Koch. A great battle from about fourth back.
Boy, and to catch, and Jordi Lopez really able to step away from that, separate themselves from that field and begin their attack on Charlie Summers. To catch, solid in second right now. Jordi is chasing hard.
Did not see much from Christian in the feature race. Charlie Summers out there racing for Red Devil Racing. Driver in second, Christian to catch, racing for Red Devil Racing. Say your prayers, because I think Red Devil is going to have a good event.
They're certainly off to a good start, but Jordi Lopez picks up 15 spots there due to that opening incident and puts himself in a podium spot already, Soup.
That can't be right. 18th to 3rd. That is how that works. My gosh. Okay, through the Casio Triangle, Vastiamaki got off. Happened right in front of Imre.
Yeah, and boy, good job of Imre of avoiding that, and good job by Patrick Jung, because Vastiamaki gets back going, and Jung just gets by as Vastiamaki got turned around right there in front of Jung.
Now we go back and look at Jordi Lopez, who has really been the star of the broadcast so far. At least as far as bringing excitement to the show. And right now he is working. Man, he is all over Christian to catch. Trying to find a way around him. To catch in the black and red machine up in front. Lopez has a good run as they head down into the hairpin right now. The defensive line taken by Tkach. Working on the outside is Lopez. They are side by side. Lopez will probably get a good drive off with a wider angle. Look at this. Now he's going to be able to force Tkach wide. Tkach will do all he can to stay in that position, give him the preferred spot as they head down into Spoon. If he can keep it in there, trying to close the door is Lopez. Tkach doesn't know him. Tkach backs out and says, Lopez, you got it for now. I'll see if I can get a run off the Spoon, see if I can get you back. But right now, give that spot to Jordy Lopez.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Lopez been impressive today. The New Jersey driver is actually the only American, the American club anyway, club driver in the field today, Sue.
Seeing with so many European drivers in there, my mom and dad taught me never to assume stuff. I would have assumed that he was from Spain or Portugal, but no, racing out of New Jersey. Now we're looking at Oosterkamp as he's trying to get around De Rijk. They come out of the final corner. Look at the defensive line that De Rijk takes. He's going to make Oosterkamp do a tie. Oosterkamp says no problem. They go into one. Oosterkamp with a lot of confidence that De Rijk will hold that inside line, and they do as they negotiate their way around. Look at Oosterkamp really squeezing them down. That's some trust going on right now. Now they negotiate through the S's. De Rijk has nowhere to go now. Oosterkamp not able to close the door. Now he can. De Rijk falls back into 8th position. He's got Koch right behind him.
As I say, look who's working cleanup duty back there. Christian Koch and Christoph Holstein also back there in that mix.
Holstein trying to got his wits about him after spinning in the lead right now. Godin back in 11th spot, watching the whole thing. A great battle going on. Leading that train is Oosterkamp. Oh my goodness, and it looks like De Rijk was going to take a shot. It was a failed attempt by De Rijk. That's going to open the door for the guy who was watching him, and he gets it done in Degner even before they get to the hairpin, and that goes to Koch.
Yeah, another good pickup on position there for Koch. He's up 15 spots, Soup, and Oosterkamp now looking over his shoulder, I think.
And we continue on that battle for 7th, looking at Oosterkamp. Meanwhile, out in front, it is Charlie Summers. He must be part Italian boat because he is gondola. 2.3 seconds ahead of Jordy Lopez. And let's go to Lopez right now. Here comes Tkach making a move. They head down into the Casio Triangle, and it looks like Tkach is going to be able to have to wait. Let's see what kind of drive he gets off of the final run out of... Nope, not going to happen. I think Lopez is far enough ahead. He's going to be able to hold him off.
I expect a move here for 10th place. Jean-Francois Godin has been very patient behind Christoph Holstein. I don't know how much longer that is going to hold up. I'll keep an eye on it back here. No! That's Koch spins.
De Rijk got into the back of him. Then I think the blue car, was that Usher? No, the blue car was Holstein.
Yeah, that was Holstein, but I honestly think
Godin involved in it as well.
De Rijk got a little bit of help there on his spin.
Yep, this one we'll watch. Riding on board with Sudden Strike. Here we go, and you can see. Does he get up into the back of him? Looks like he did.
Yeah.
Koch involved. De Rijk involved. Oosterkamp got away clean, I think. Godin got a piece of it.
Well, they get those drivers have got to regroup and try and stay in this race, Sue.
Well, we've talked about it before, Sean. The road to a championship is all about doing great in the feature and then having a decent result in the sprint. You just want to score some points. Let's look at 3rd position right now. Remember, we were talking about Tkach and Lopez. I'll be darned if Jordy Lopez hasn't put Tkach in his rearview mirror and has left him, but really what's happening now, here comes Mark Usher.
Yeah, Usher really putting pressure on Christian Tkach right now as they got through Casio. To catch was able to get just a little bit better exit there, but Usher really has been moving up. That lap actually was the fastest lap of the race set by Mark Usher, and actually Renee Osterkamp just comes across the line with the fastest lap of the race back there. So Osterkamp obviously still digging. He's up 12 spots.
A lot of those drivers that we just saw in that last spin stayed out on track. They're still out there racing. And I can report that Oscar Mangan, who finished second in the feature race, is still out there in the points in 15th now. I think that gets him 1 point. Godin in 13th position. Big names that are out of the race. Well, Scott Newton, Andy Cowie, Phil Reed, Daniel Morris, Michael Mittner.
Stephen Ash, another car behind the wall, Sue.
Look at Usher right now. This is the best battle for fourth. This is all going behind Charlie Summers, who was well out in front. Summers was also really good in the feature race, but got into trouble. Really good at Bathurst, but got into trouble. So Charlie's looking to pick up his first career win as we ride on board here with Mark Usher.
Well, right now, Charlie just got to continue to do what he's doing. Just good pace. Don't make any mistakes. Keep the car in the gray. Keep it out of the grass and the dirt, and just continue to tick off good laps. Right now, he's got a good 2.5 second lead over Jordi Lopez. Just keep opening that up a little bit every lap if you can, or at least just keep him at bay. Jordi's going to be back there fighting with Christian for a while, and Mark Usher is in that party. So, listen, pay attention to the track in front of you, and brother, just keep nailing your marks.
In 5th position, the friends and family of the Patrick Kessler fan club have got to be yelling at me. We're really not giving him a lot of screen time. Didn't show him much in the feature race, and here he is racing 5th right now. He does have his handful, though, with Manuel Hoyer and Renee Osterkamp, who are coming in on him. We'll keep an eye on this one. Tierney has had an issue.
Yeah, spin by Tierney, and it results in Lawrence de Rijk I think de Rijk actually... That might have been a disqualification for de Rijk, actually, as he disappears on that contact.
Well, remember, he was involved in that other incident as well. Yeah, so, bink. There he goes.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, that got ugly. Tough day for de Rijk.
And we're seeing that Hoyer has disappeared. Remember, he was chasing Kessler, and he's gone. He was racing in 6th position.
I think Hoyer was another one that was pushing it on incidents already, just with 12 minutes to go. Tough start for Manuel Hoyer.
And you see, there he goes. Now that timing, that he was racing in 6th when he disappeared, showing him 17th. That's where he is at the current spot. Now we go to 3rd position. This is to catch. And look at this. He's got it. Usher has got him. That was a long time coming, so Usher moves up into that 3rd position. And now, that's bad news for Jordi Lopez, because here comes Usher, and he's fast. And that also, I think, is going to bring along the red and black car of Tkach as well. Tkach gets a good run down the straight, gets in the toe. Now, Usher and Lopez, these are two guys that, if I were to say, I'd pick two guys I wouldn't want to race next to each other. This would be the two guys.
Well,
this will be fun. Yeah.
We certainly don't have a lot of background on Lopez yet, so a little bit of an unknown there, but he has certainly already shown that he can be a very tough competitor, Soup. And if I'm Usher, I'm certainly setting him up for the right opportunity.
And again, let me choose my words carefully here. I would say that Mark Usher is a very confident driver when it comes to passing. One man's confidence is another man's aggression. Boy, going really wide out of the second Degner was Usher. They come down into the hairpin. Let's stay on this a bit. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, it really is a good battle, Soup. Probably one of the better battles we've got on track now. I will say Jean-Francois Godin and Patrick Jung are in a pretty good one themselves, but that's still about a second apart. So this one is the one to watch right now. Charlie Summers doing a great job of holding everybody off. He's 3.2 seconds up on everybody now.
Yeah. Out there cooking with hot fish grease is Charlie Summers right now, but Lopez has his hands full with that blue car. Here he comes as they work their way through 130R. He'll get a look. I talked about aggression. Look at that. He's going to get him on 130R. Now they go side by side into the chicane. Usher's going to force the issue. They continue to go side by side. Usher gets it done. Now let's see what kind of run Lopez can get. Lopez has a great run. They're on the outside. Lopez is out onto the grass, out into the sand. He tries to gather it up. He loses one position to catch. He gets it going straight. He's going to be okay. He's going to get out in front of Patrick Kessler, I think. And meanwhile, let's go back. Kessler is still fending off Osterkamp. That was the battle we worked on. We talked about before. Osterkamp, Sean, it seems like he notoriously has somebody to get around at the closing edges of a race. He did it last time, and he's got one more guy to do here again, Patrick Kessler.
And he's battling for the same position, Sue.
Yeah.
He's battling for 5th place, and you know what? He's got just under 5 laps now, just under 9 minutes to get this done. It's certainly doable based on what happened in the last race. His pace, indeed, is much better. He may not have to wait to the last lap, but Osterkamp trying to put the same type of work in here with Patrick Kessler. And 4th place, not out of the question. Jordi Lopez not that far up the track.
Yeah, that Lopez-Usher battle turned out to be just what I thought it would be. Exciting, and maybe not the most traditional way to get the passes made. We're going to go back to 8th position. Look at this. This is making the move as the French-Canadian Jean-Francois Godin gets around the inside of Ilka Lindstrom. Lindstrom out there racing for his new team, which slips my mind. Maybe, Director, can you tell me what that, are we able to put that is? Oh, yeah, TDT Racing. That team very competitive right now. Having a good run.
And so,
look what happened. You'll see what in 5th position? Osterkamp got that pass made on Kessler.
Yeah. So I was going to say, in the top 10 now, Patrick Jung setting up Ilka Lindstrom here, trying to get 9th spot. How many positions do you think Patrick Jung's come up from in this field?
I remember him near the very back. Where did he qualify at? He was
Sippy qualified 30th this race. And he is up 20 spots and battling a legitimate battle with Ilka Lindstrom, getting a run on him here down the front straight, down into turn 1. Gonna stay patient. He knows he's still got time to get this done.
Yeah, he was one of those names where it's between you and I, Sean. Let's take the rest of these back markers here. Just a little, get them out of the way, make sure we get our bonus for calling everybody. Sure enough, up from 30th, 20 spots. You know, just, we look at this battle, we can stay on it, but just to follow up on Osterkamp, a 5th and a 5th, that's a good day. That's a nice conservative day. We'll get you some points.
You may not have been the best, but you were probably the most consistent. Indeed.
You know, and the way things are playing out, I mean, a lot of the big names who did well in the feature are not here. Just tell you the gap. We can watch this battle. Summers with almost a 5-second lead over Usher. I don't think that's, unless there's some big issue with 6 minutes to go, that's not going to be a factor.
You know, I really think Osterkamp's got an outside shot at the podium here, Soup. It's not out of the question. Jordi only just about a second in front of him, and Christian to catch about 2.5 seconds. And again, Osterkamp been so consistent today, still turning great laps. I think he's got a chance, and he just gets through 130R there, really clean, flat out, now down into the Casio Triangle. Good trip in and a good trip out, and look who gets offline in front of him, Jordi Lopez. Here comes Osterkamp around the outside, give the position across the line to Rene Osterkamp, up to 4th.
Just gobbled that one up. Nice call, Sean. You saw that one coming.
Oh, he's not done.
Yeah, good good news for Osterkamp, he got the pass made. The bad news is Lopez is not one to give up.
He's lurking now.
Yeah.
He's probably, honestly, Soupy's probably pissed that he just gave that up, and he's looking for more.
Let's go back to 9th position real quick. Here's Lindstrom we talked about Patrick Jung making that move. Well, here he is. He's coming up on him. These guys are behind. We haven't given at least give his name a mention. Evan Imre in 7th and Jean-Francois Gaudin in 8th. Lindstrom in 9th being challenged by Jung. Jung is, you can see those, if it looks like we're just watching Osterkamp, well, that's that SimRC colors, because he's teamed up with Osterkamp. They're running 5th and 10th right now. Good points day for that team.
Yeah, another good day for somebody else indeed. Jung back here still trying to set up this pass on Urka Lindstrom. Boy, it's going to be awful tough to get that done. Urka does not look willing at all. So does not look like a willing.
Lindstrom out there having a good run. 16 cars, 17 cars still on the lead lap. And it looks like Josh Thompson is going to finish. Remember, saw Josh having such a good race?
Side by side, Jordy Lopez, Osterkamp. I'm sorry, in Casio Triangle. Oh, Lopez gets it back.
It's going to be short. He's going to take the defensive line now. Here comes Osterkamp on the outside. Lopez easing over. Look at him squeezing. He does not want to give up, and he wants to get the best angle into one that he can. That's some good racing. Some scary racing, but good racing. Osterkamp decides not to go 2x2 through there. He gets a pretty good run now as they head up into the S's. I don't think you're going to do much here. 3 minutes to go. He'll have plenty of time to get that pass made. But that brings the quiet man, Patrick Kessler, back into the business.
It does, and Osterkamp getting a little of his own medicine handed back to him there by Lopez. Great move by Lopez to get it back. This is not over. Just under 3 minutes to go. The clock is ticking away. They may get the white flag next time by, Soup.
The bad news for SimRC Racing is Osterkamp lost that position. The good news is his teammate Patrick Jung was able to get around Lindstrom, move him up to 9th. How about, can we go quickly to 11th position? Here's a guy we haven't talked about. Oscar Magnan now has worked his way from 22nd. Been a bit slow, been uneventful, but he's real close to picking up some points. Here's another good points day again. And he's got Lindstrom in his sights and Jung. He could actually get up tonight. That's Magna going to be very impressive on that one.
Soup, another battle here, 7th place. Jean-Francois Gaudin just gets around Evan Imre. And they are down in a spoon curve. Imre going to try and get it back, but boy, Gaudin gets such a nice run through the spoon curve. It's going to be all up to Imre to catch the toe and find a way to get around. Like I said, I think this time by we're getting the white flag here.
Comes across with, it's going to be close, 145 as they cross the start-finish line. We won't actually get the official notice if it's the white flag lap for a little while. My guess is it will be. Sometimes within a second or two, they make them go one more lap. Charlie Summers out in front. Mark Usher racing in 2nd. Christian to catch in 3rd. No real battle there. Best battle up front is the battle between Lopez and Osterkamp. Osterkamp knows how to get it done on the last lap, Sean. Last time he did it.
Yeah.
Out of spoon. Let's see if he does it again.
He's certainly setting him up for it, isn't he, Soup? Just the right distance. Hasn't let him get too far away. Up the hill here to the left, down to Degner 1.
Our leaders are just going to the hairpin right now, so we can stay on this battle a little while longer. We'll cut away to cover the leaders coming across the line. And here they go. Down into the hairpin. This is where he needs a good run. He just wants to stay close so he can get a run out of spoon. Summers just going through spoon right now gives you a kind of an idea of how far our leaders are away from the guys that are chasing them. I don't know if Osterkamp, I don't know if he's close enough here.
Yeah, maybe not quite as close as he was in the last race, Soup. It's going to be tough, a tough ask. He's catching him, but is it enough right here?
And the white flag is out. Charlie Summers has negotiated the final chicane. Give the sprint race round number 2 at Suzuka in the AOR Formula 2.0 Challenge to Charlie Summers. Mark Usher gets second. To catch third, Lopez is going to get fourth.
Yeah, and Osterkamp tried in the Casio Triangle, and he got a little loose coming off. Tried to be aggressive and spun the tires.
Let's go to Jung in 9th position. He's going to lose. It looks like Oscar Mangan is going to get this spot. Oscar's going to come across where they officially going to score him in. Oscar gets scored in 9th.
Patrick Jung going to get that top 10 spot. Got to be happy with that, Soup, coming all the way 20 spots. Start 30th and finish 10th. You generally don't expect that in a race.
Sarah Dove going to come across, I believe, in the Baker Dozen position. Let's see where they score her. They give her 13th. Adam Tierney gets 14th. Silvio Hurt on the lead lap. Not the last car on the lead lap. Going to finish 15th and pick up points. Last car on the lead lap and the last car scoring points. It's the Orange Viking, Kmart, Knut Martinsen. And that will do it here for our coverage of the sprint race. But don't go away. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back to run down the entire finishing order, do some driver interviews, and close up shop. Back in a few. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing channel's coverage of the AOR's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship, round number 2, the doubleheader event from Suzuka. We have both races in the books, but before we run down the finishing order of the sprint race, let's go ahead and look at the kerfuffle that happened on the first lap here of the sprint race. Sean, you taking a look at it. Who starts it off?
Yeah, I really think it starts with Stephen Ash. Now, he's that blue car that just dipped all the way to the inside there, and as coming back across the track, you're going to see him make contact here. And that contact is what's really starts the melee. He makes that contact with Scott Newton. And then right behind him, you got Knut Martinsen and Alexander Waldo. The next two cars, they both get into that as well. And then everybody else behind them on poles there.
Yeah, you can see that they're just coming in. Going to ride on board with Ash up front. There's the initial contact. He gets turned around. Here they come. Don't hit me. So that's how you do it. Now, let's see how you get through this. Sometimes you got to take the road less traveled. We're going to ride on board with Evan Emery. He had a good view of it. It gets real smoky, and he takes it off into the grass. See it start to happen in front of him. Everything starts to break loose. He goes out here. Cars are flying. Swells it up, turns back, gets back out there, and gets through. And that's how you get yourself an 8th place finish. You start back in back in there. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and run down your finishing order. Your winner, Charlie Summers. We've expected him, big things out of him since we saw him come onto the scene at Bathurst, and he gets his first win only 2 events in. Mark Usher and Christian DeCatch round out your podium. Jordi Lopez, man, he was exciting to watch. He got the best of Rene Osterkamp as they go 4th and 5th. Really quiet performance from Patrick Kessler, but very good performance as he comes in 6th today. Good points day for him. Francois Godin in 8th position. We talked about 7th. Emery gets 8th. Oscar Mangden came from 22nd to get 9th and a 2nd place in the feature. That's going to be a good points day for him as well. And another newcomer to the series we're keeping our eye on, Patrick Jung in 10th. Sean?
All right, and 11th, going to go to Eunice Vastamaki today, the Finnish driver. Followed by another Finnish driver, Erkut Lindström. Finishes 12th there. Sarah Dove, 13th today. 14th, going to go to Adam Tierney. Silvio Hurt decided to start for the pit, and you know what? For his effort, finishes 15th. Good on Silvio.
Yeah.
Knut Martinsen, 16th, 17th. Josh Thompson, who was running up front in that feature race there for a moment. Manuel Hoyer, 18th. Lawrence DeReich, 19th. And Lee Robinson rounds out top 20.
Silvio Hurt finished ahead of those guys, Newton and Ash, who we would have been racing with. So, yeah, sometimes that's the smart way to play it. Hidden Blackjack, Christoph Holstein, Christian Koch. There's a big name back in the double duck spot. Another big name, Michael Mittner behind him. Daniel Morris. The big names continue to strike well back. Another one, Phil Reed. The Milkman, Andy Cowie. The Magic Wand, Darren Potter. Not a good day, points day for him. Scott Newton caught up in that early incident in the sprint race back there in 28th. Alexander Valdo. Stefan Ash, we saw him involved in that kerfuffle early on. And Harry Damon in 31st. Okay, interviews. It looks like we have Christian Koch. We're going to let Sean talk to him, who had a pretty good points day.
Christian, what a race. Both races. Pretty exciting here at Suzuka. A little tough luck for you here in the sprint race, but talk to us about your day.
Yeah, hi guys. It was really an exciting evening with such a close field and a lot big new names in here. Really fast with Oscar, of course, and the battle in the race was just amazing. I really had luck in qualifying to get on P3 and be able to keep up at the beginning. Had a good start for P2 and then really fighting with Oscar in lap for lap, qualifying laps for me at least, and just was waiting for the pit stop window, and there I was able to hit really 2 good laps in there and have a good pit stop. So I was amazed that Oscar was behind me after the pit stop, and it was so close until the end that I really could hold on. It was just a game of was for my nerves not the best thing.
Well, listen, man. I mean, next week we head to Zandvoort. Now, iRacing dealt us a bit of a strange schedule to get started with. I mean, we've got we had Bathurst, and now we had Suzuka. Now we're going to go to Zandvoort, which, quite honestly, maybe not one of the more popular tracks on the iRacing service, but maybe it's not popular because it's really challenging.
Oh, I think Zandvoort is really challenging. I love this track, and it's amazing to drive there. It's I think this will be very close race there, at least on the level we had here today. With the time differences, I think in qualifying we had 1 second between P1 and P15 or P19. I'm not sure, but it's crazy how close the whole field. And I'm so sorry for my teammate Michael. He got caught up today 2 times again, and he really has a tough time at the moment. So I think I hope he really gets that together, and well, it's just bad luck what he's having.
Yeah. Christian, it's Soup here. It's fun to win, and certainly you like doing that, but my goodness, the competition here as a announcer and a fan is so fun for me. Summers, Usher, to catch, your partner Mickner. Who knows where it's going to come from? There's so many people who could win these things now. The competition is so close.
Yeah, I think we have 10 or at least 10 or maybe even more guys who can win a race,
right?
A feature race,
right? Yeah, I mean Oscar as a Godin, it all depends. Qualifying now so important for those feature races. You don't want to start from 8th because the big names in front of you are hard to get around.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just amazing, and you really have to focus for every race, and especially for the qualifying. I mean, I really tried to focus and to get my laps together in the qualifying. Insane.
Yeah, it's really impressive. Well, congratulations on a good feature race, and you got some not so much in the sprint, but it'll be a good point stand for you anyway. Let's hope. Got to get your partner to get you some points next time around and get that team back out in front.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, there you have it, Christian Koch. Sean, Christian, a good interview, isn't he?
Yeah, he is full of information always, and real joy to talk to, man. I enjoyed that. Got to get him in here more.
It makes me, every time I talk to the drivers around the world, it makes me so embarrassed about the education system in my home country, the United States. I can barely hold a conversation in 1 language. These guys do it in 2 and 3. Boy, thanks for coming in. And we want to encourage you, even if you do have trouble talking to us in English, don't hesitate. Come on in. We'd love to hear from you. Well, I think that's just about it, as our interviews are done. So that's going to wrap it up for us today. So let's go ahead and close up shop. Now pay attention, because these are the people that make this possible. We'd like to thank everybody at Apex Online Racing for organizing Formula Renault 2.0 League, and for all the members who support the broadcast. We know you have a lot of choices when you fly. Thanks for flying GSRC. Thanks to the company's equipment software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. And the original music, I'm going off script here for a minute. Come on, go download some of this stuff. These guys work hard, and their music is really good. You know what? Last night, a burglar broke into my house, and I put on some Casey Lalonde to add to the suspense as I fended him off with my baseball bat. That actually didn't happen. But you could do that with some of this music, so please support Casey Lalonde and Eric Ekholm and the music that they do. Sean, over to you.
All right, Soup and the AOR returns next week, Friday, June 30th, for round 3 from Zandvoort. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us. For more information about the Global Sim Racing channel, your best bet is to find us. Well, you can go to our website first. That's www.globalsimracingchannel.com. And you can also find us through social media at GSR Channel for Twitter and Facebook. Type in Global Sim Racing Channel. So,
you hear that music right now? Tell me your chances of fending off a burglar wouldn't be better if you had that music playing. That would, come on, you know it would be. And now, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Sean Ambrose, our director, Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. And with that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.